now you play out this whole way of communicating that you've learned from childhood, and as you're growing up as a young adult till your teenage years and stuff like that to become an adult, then in your relationship now, all the bad habits that you've picked up, all the things that were actually toxic, you picked it up now, you start expressing it in your relationship. So romantic relationships are the most transformative types of relationship experiences you can ever have. People face difficulties, lots of difficulties and challenges when it comes to our relationships, okay? And then remember that the reason that we have certain problems in our relationships stem from psychological issues, emotional issues, and as well as spiritual issues and biological issues as well. Okay, so everything comes into play here, you know. Then your childhood wounds, everything that happened in your childhood will play out in your relationships. Thank you for joining my live, Nino. I'm Sisian, life coach and motivational speaker. If you have not as yet, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. My channel is all about self-development, being aware and awakening and understanding who you are so you're able to show up better in the world and become a better partner in your relationships and stuff like that. So knowing and understanding all your weaknesses and where you need to work on helps you become a better person, right? Because in relationships, we tend to always blame the other person, okay? We don't look within ourselves and maybe it's me, maybe I could do things differently, maybe I can, show up more better for this person. But if you don't have an understanding that you can do better, you can never ever have the realization that you need to actually improve yourself. So we're always blaming other people in our relationships. We blame our partners for things not going right. We blame them that they are actually not able to communicate very well. We don't understand them. They don't understand us. Okay, not understanding that your whole personality has been developed from a young age. From the time you with your parents living at home, you learned how to be who you are, how to relate to other people, how to communicate in relationships by what you absorb from childhood. Okay, then as you go on in life, when you go and you start school, you get exposed to more people, then you learn that this is how people actually communicate in my community, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. Because remember that what you learn at home is your family tribe way of behavior and communicating. Okay, in every society there's a cultural way of you talking, and there's moral codes and stuff like that. So you learn your first moral codes at home. So this is what we, in our tribe, in our home, this is how we behave, this is how we communicate. This is our moral code, right? And you take that out and you go into the world with it and you get exposed to more people coming from different backgrounds like yourself. And then you learn and you see, okay, in this community where I'm from, this is how we behave, this is how we talk, this is what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. So you're learning all those things from the age, from birth, from age to 7 years old. That's your most learning phase, because that's where you were basically a blank slate before, right? So the first 7 years you've been bombarded with all these different things on how to communicate, how to relate to different people in your family, what it is to love somebody, how to show intimacy and stuff like that, right? So you find you go out there in the world now and you find that people are very intimate and you want to be in my home, there was no such thing. We don't do those type of things. Then becomes a problem, right? Then you wonder, well, what should I do? Then you take what serves you at that time, especially if you are given a very liberal upbringing at home where your parents gave you an opportunity to make your own choices on how you actually express yourself in terms of intimacy and stuff like that, and touch things and hugging and touch. You find that, okay, in my home we don't do that. So you take that same type of way of thinking and you go into the world, you go to school, you start now socializing other people, and you learn that these people are more intimate. They like to touch, and I don't like that. But then you have a right to also say, well, I feel uncomfortable with this type of intimacy because at the end of the day, I'm not used of it, and it's not something I was taught at home. So we need to understand. Now we get to understand that we need to have space and allow other people space to be themselves, right? So childhood wounds can also affect your relationships, okay?